Right, well, hello everybody. So what we're going to look at here is a past paper. It's from City and Guilds. It's a level 1 sample paper, calculated not permitted. So what we're going to do is, this is my answer sheet over here. I've got some answers already done up. We potentially have covered this in a session already. Some of you may have been there, some of you may not have been there. So this is just an example so you can see at least what we were looking at and some of the questions. So this is a non-calculator paper. So in your practice, in the first instance, if you want, nothing wrong doing it with a calculator. Check that you've got the right methods, but ultimately you need to be able to do this without a calculator. So I do very strongly suggest that you do slightly gen up on your long division and your long multiplication, because that will help you. Now, I will give you the answers. I'm not necessarily going to go into huge explanations because I like to see how you can interpret the question. Then if you do have some issues and some difficulties, then please come back, let me know, okay? And then I will go through and check that everything is okay with you. So, let's just have a look. Bear with me one moment. Right, so, here we are. Got these questions here, questions 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Put yourself on pause and I'll have a go answering these questions, okay? And then once you've done them, bring yourself off of pause and I'll resume and I'll be waiting for you, and we'll at least have a look at the answers. Again, don't forget you can do screenshots of these as well, so then you've got them for practice as well as your own time and leisure. So take your time, put yourself on pause, and once you finish these, press play and I'll come back and see you again. Right, so you press play. Well done. How did you get on? Those 4 questions there. Quite some interesting ones. Okay. So let's have a look at question 1 to start off with. And I've got to mention, if you actually do want to go through and look at the answers first, there's still nothing wrong with doing that, because it's going to be something to aim for, so you can see we've got to end up. Okay. So question 1, if we're going to do this correctly, this is how we're going to do it, because you need to show a method how you got to the answer. As I mean, I think some of you can probably actually see a 846.7 divided by 100, ultimately we're just knocking the decimal point back 2 points. But we do need to show a method how we arrive there, and this is the long division method of doing it, okay? There are videos that I have sent through on the links support list to you all your tutors will have it, or again, let me know, I'll send them through. That gives some explanations on long division, some exercises, so there's your answer there. Cuboid, okay. Basically, the way to approach this is divide everything down. Okay, so again, I've used to point the long division method here. You can probably use the short division method if you want, but again, you need to be showing methods how you arrived at your conclusion. So essentially, you've been given 24. So when we normally go volume, we are basically length times width times height. So essentially, what we're now doing is dividing down. So 4 divided by 24. Okay, that's going to be a bit here. Gives us that. We then have 3 divided by 6, 2, which is going to give us that, which essentially is going to leave us with 2 here, okay, which is our missing value. Okay, have a look at that question. Again, questions, queries, come back, let me know, and I'll actually go through it with you. Okay, 9 squared, basically 9 times 9 is 91. Now, okay, I know we're all meant to learn our times tables. Some of us are good and we've done it, and some of us are not so good and haven't done it. Or perhaps somebody like me, I used to be forced to recite them in front of the class at school, and then if you didn't get it wrong, you didn't get your morning break or something like that. So automatically I do have a slight barrier to overcome. The way I approach that, something like this happens, is I just add the numbers up. For some reason that's come out as an equals there, but that should be a plus sign, okay? So 9 plus 9 equals 18, which is 2 9s. 18 plus 18, which is 2 lots of 9. 36 is 4, and so on and forth until you build up to get to your number, okay? And that's also a good way you can probably work with your long division as well. If you're trying to work out how much will go into something, is actually just keep adding increments of that on until you actually get nearest, okay? That's another way you can do it, okay? So that's another way to do multiplication. 18 minus 5 times 2, okay? Very important, order of operation. I will actually at some point put a video up onto the Zoom links about order of operation. Is when you see something like this, you must always do the multiplication first, okay? Actually, while I'm here, I'll do that in a minute. You do need to do the multiplication first, okay? because that's where you need to be going. Okay, that's the first thing you always do. So we do 5 times 2 equals 10. Then 18 minus the 10, which is our figure, equals 8. Okay, don't be tempted to do 18 minus 5 times 2, because you'll come out with a completely different answer. So how did you get on? Again, as I said, any questions, queries, let me know and I'll actually go through it with you. All right. But part of this also is sometimes just sitting, looking and reflecting. And again, if you've got a different method and you've come out with the same answer, you carry on using that method. Don't let me try and sway you. Right, so let's have a look at these questions here. If you'd like to look at questions 5, 6 and 7 here. Right, angle, the triangle part, tick box, and 2.2/5 is a decimal. Okay, so if you can have a look at those, put yourself on pause, have a go. And once you're finished, press play and I'll rejoin you. Right, how do you get on? So again, to take screenshots, again, if you want to just fast forward to the answers, please do, and then you can see how we got there. And again, there's nothing wrong if you feel the need to use a calculator, a little bit of Googling at this purpose to help out, that's fine, okay? But ultimately, remember, come the revolution, come the day of the test, you can't use a calculator, you can't use the internet, so ultimately you do need to be aware of how some of these things work in your mind, okay? And again, there's videos we can help out there. Okay, so which of the above has an angle of 180? D. Think of it, 180 is half of 360. So your 360 degrees is all your circle, 180 is going to be half, okay? So that's that part. Right, 246,805 in figures. Hopefully I've got that right and not embarrassed myself. Yes, okay, let's have that. They're our favourite sort of questions that come up, so be prepared for those. 2/5 is a decimal. Easiest way of that is to really double the top, double the bottom. We've got 2/5. In reality, it's 4/10, which is going to be 40%. Okay. Now, okay, you go, Matt, how do I get that into a decimal? Okay, we can do 10 divided by 4 if we want to go down that route, long division. But I mean, so what you've got here is a big clone. They're not going to make you do too many difficult calculations. This terms of level 1 paper, which this one is 4/10 is going to be 40% if you think of it that way. Okay, again, if you're not sure, let me know. But what I sometimes do is in questions like this, think of money. Think of that as 40p. 0.4 is in fact 40p, 0.2 is 20p, 0.25 is 25p, and 0.04 is in fact 4p. So sometimes think of these type of questions in money as well. There is a calculation we can do manually for this. If some of you want me to go over that, let me know and I'll go through it with you and I'll show you how it all works, okay? But make your life simple. Some question like this, just double everything, 4/10, and then hopefully that gives you a chance to see it's 40% or 0.4 as a decimal. Okay, let's have a look at questions 8, 9 and 10 indeed. Right, we've got -6 and +4. Arrange these weights and I'm going to match the fans there. So have a go, put yourself in pause, and I will rejoin you shortly when you press play. Okay, so you press play. Welcome back. Let's go and have a look at the answers. So it's going to be -6 take 4 is in fact going to be -2. What I've done is you have something like this, do yourself a number line up, okay? Because essentially what you're doing is you're adding 4 to -6. So you're adding a positive to a negative. So almost imagine this, you've got a freezer that's operating at -6. Wouldn't be very good if it's operating at -6. Should be operating at -20, -30 something. But what you're doing is you're adding +4 degrees. So also think if it's a temperature day, it's -6 outside, thankfully not at the moment. The temperature rises 4 degrees during the course of the day, which your temperature going to ultimately end up -2. Okay? Do yourself a number line. There is a video out there about negative numbers I've done, and if you haven't got the link for that, please let me know and I will get that facilitated for you. All your tutors will have a copy of that, but if not, just drop me an email, okay, and I can get that organised for you. Okay, and I'll just make sure at the end you do have my email address. I'll put that up separately. Okay, right, so we have the range of those weights, 84 being highest, 27 being lowest. So you're taking the highest weight from the lowest with the range. Essentially that. So what's just with something like this, you put the numbers in order and that'll help you. Okay, little tricks of the trade. So range is a form of average. So remember, you have your mode average, which is the most common or the most fashionable. Median, always think of it as the piggy in the middle, the one in the middle. Okay, and you have the mean, which is a selfish average, where you add everything up and divide by the total amount. Okay, I will actually get something done for averages. That actually would be an excellent idea. Thank you all for giving me that idea. We'll do a little video on averages. That's fine. Rugby match. Okay. What is the total attendance? Adding that up, nearest 100, so 22,065 is going to be 22,100. Okay, rounding that up. Right, so let's see. Oh, yes, we do have some more questions going on here. Okay, so yes, so these are the final questions of this paper. So we just try and squeeze these all in. Okay, we've got question 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so if you'd like to have a try at these questions now, please for me, that'd be absolutely superb. Okay, and then I'll bring the answers back up. Okay, and I'll just notice the time, so I'll just have to trot along when we get to the answers. So I've got to get this video in under 15 minutes to process it onto YouTube. Press pause. Right, so you've pressed play. Here we go. So, question 12. Company has surveyed data for ages. Data will be grouped. Right, you've essentially got to fill in the missing gaps, basically. So we see 26.35, so it's 36 to 45. Remember, you're going to start at 36, not at 35, otherwise you're going to skew your data. 45, and then 55, you're starting at 56 up to 64. Okay. Get any questions, queries, always let me know, and I'll come back and I can always help you out. Okay. Question 12, the ratio is 1 to 2. Look at 270, really, it's half of 270, 135 is half of that, 135 is half of 270. So that gives you a ratio of 1 to 2. And then we're looking at segments here. And again, I know a lot of you are nursery workers. I classify you as the world experts on ratios. But again, if you have difficulties, just let me know. Okay, and we'll go through it. And question 13, finally, here we go. You're counting the segments up. Okay. There's 12 segments. You have 4 chances out of 12. We then need to cancel out fraction down and simplify it. So remember, simplifying is cancelling. So some of us are a little bit have more grey hair perhaps than some others. Okay, cancelling and simplifying the same. You need to add a fraction down to its most basic. I've got a video out there about simplifying fractions. Again, if you need some help, but essentially what you're looking at is a number that's going to go into all of these equally. And pretty much rule of thumb, if it's an even number, you're always going to get 2 going into it. So that's a nice little tip to remember. It might take a little bit longer to cancel everything down, but that gives you a bit of an advantage. Okay, and we end up at 1/3, and that's as far as we can go. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully that gives you an insight into a level 1 non-calculator paper there. There will be some more papers coming up in due course. Any questions or queries, please let me know. And thank you very much for your time and attention.